My humble pranams to all the divine immortal souls who are gathered here today. Today we'll be discussing chapter 5 of The Soul's Journey by Peter Richelieu. So this book is quite interesting in a sense that we 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 get to understand what happens after a person dies, and it is a quite interesting story. Not everybody would believe that there is a life after that, because when I was talking about in my family, my daughter told me, I would rather know what is happening in this world than what is happening after I die. So it is challenging to make them understand. So these are the books that's going to help us to understand what is happening in our life. Okay, let me look at chapter 5. Just one moment here. Sometimes I get everything ready and then I forget where I put it. Thank you for your patience. Okay, we were talking. What happened in chapter 4 is that he goes through a lot of traveling and astral traveling. There he goes under the water, and then he sees someone whose plane is shot down. And what happens when the etheric body, get entangled with the astral body? Everything that we listened to last week on chapter 4. So I've already posted chapter 4 in the WhatsApp group, so please have a look at it. So in chapter 5, what happens is, a night after his experience, he was actually sleeping and he prepared everything for the astral travel, but it didn't happen. So the next day, Acharya comes exactly right on time, and he was worried, whether he has covered everything that every instances that happened during the astral travel. But Acharya was quite happy about looking at these notes, and he said, "Yeah, you have already covered almost everything, except for two areas that is you were not very aware what was happening under the ocean, and the other one is when the pilot was shut down. So these two parts are not really covered, but it's okay," he said. "But you have done a wonderful job in compiling everything that you have remembered so much in on his first attempt." So he congratulated him on that. Yes. And and he said it's okay if you cannot remember what is happening, uh, because he said, Acharya said, I will help you wherever the help is needed. I will give you the help, he says. And he said he said you must be prepared for all your disappointment, because not every chance that you want to try your astral travel it will happen, but wherever possible I will help you in whatever way that I can. And he said, in this chapter, what I'm seeing is he is sharing a lot of wisdom here, and he said, whatever you see in the astral world, because it is your personal experience, you can either choose to believe or not to believe. But see, the only method is for you to adopt the possibility that the things are truth, and you must go about finding way to prove whatever that you have seen is the truth. So, and then he asked this question, now what have we proved so far? So the few things that he discussed is, he said it is possible to remember your travel. He said you have proved that it is possible to have experiences apart from your physical body, that is the astral travel. And he says you have proved that that is not what you thought it is. It is because you have actually seen Charles, your brother, and he knows he is very much alive. And when, even though he is invisible when you are awake, but you have talked to him, and he has already shared his experiences with you. So, and he says, life in astral world is not a miserable one. It's not the purgatory, as we said, as we discussed last time. It's not a purgatory. It is something that every man will be afraid of death. But here you see, there's nothing to fear about death because life is exactly how you are living here. Uh, that is what is happening in the outer world. Okay, so present knowledge of that is not a tragedy, he says. And he said, in some cases, it also can be a relief, but also a great blessing. Okay, so sometimes when we have see people who are suffering in with ill health, for them it is actually a relief because they let go of the painful body and they're going to an astral world where there's no pain at all. They don't feel the pain there. Okay, because the physical body is not there, so therefore you don't feel the pain. But mind, mind has the suffering. That is entirely different thing. And he says that people who are artistically inclined, uh, they have a lot of area where they can explore. If they are interested in a special branch of art like music, painting, literature, or even travel, he says, it's possible after death. You can actually go around exploring everything. But he said, if you uh, you know if you are doing on a wait, before that, let me he said, and then Henry asked this question: how can one develop new interests after that? So it's the same way as you're developing in your lifetime. You have time, you have money, so you're going to go and learn up something. But in astral level, you don't have to pay any money. The school exists because there's a great need for training in that world, and therefore the schools are actually giving two purposes. They not only teach people about the condition of the astral world, but they also teach you how to enjoy, using your thought to create everything. So the instruction are plenty, teachers are plenty, everything is there for you to go and enjoy your life. And there is no, because there is no time factor, 24 hours for them is like, even though if you are learning for 3 hours, the next 18 hours you don't need a sleep, so you can actually enjoy the life. Unless in the physical world that we sit for 3 hours, we become very tired, the physical body needs a sleep. But in the astral world it's not like that. Everybody can enjoy the they can use their 24 hours to the maximum because there's no time there. Okay. And um, and the schools, I said that schools plays tremendous part in the life of the astral world because they influence the future lives of the people. For example, let's say in the astral life, one person developed the interest in arts or science, and he spend his time going for schools, going learning a lot of things from the teachers and from the teachers who are they are always ready to teach the students, beginning to the extreme expertise, they are willing to teach. So when you have the interest, probably you might carry this interest in your next life. And unfortunately, what he is saying is, we find children in a early age where they have this attitude of science or music or whatever. But we as parents, this is actually a warning to all the parents, I guess. I said we actually squash their interest because we want them to study something where they will earn, where they will make a living in this earth life. Because of the thing that is squashed, they have this kind of a repressed, cannot be free. But in astral world, there's no such thing. The children can be children. They can enjoy everything. They can learn everything. There's no um, stopping. Nobody can stop them from anything. Okay. And they say the permanent inhabitants. I mean, the people who are permanently staying there. They see schools in a different way. They say even though they live in the astral world, but for them going to school is for them to enjoy themselves. Whereas in the physical world, the school is for learning, and we don't know what we are learning. And in the end, in my time, I feel that it was. I think even in this time that we also feel that school is not actually preparing us for the life in this world. But in astral world, it's a different thing. You learn everything as per your interest, as per your desire, everything that you like that you can learn. And he said, "Do you remember Roy Chapman? That is the brother's friend." He said he felt bored. He said he had done a lot of things. He had made a lot of friends. He enjoyed taking them to dinners, shows, picnic. But he the interest wears off because he was a golfer in his lifetime. But golf is not interesting game in astral because every time you putt, you get the straight, the straight. I don't know what birdie I think they call it. So that is not a challenging life. So because there was no challenge in life, it became bored for him. So then he said, then one day, probably somebody will introduce him to an opportunity that exists in astral world where he can increase his knowledge and develop a particular line of art. But he said Roy might not be interested, but sometimes, but soon he will realize that to fill the long hours, he had to become, uh, his interest must be aroused, so that you can, you know, go and learn something and take to make yourself, active and to be interested. And there are others who said the interest has no appeal. They usually he give a case of an old married couple. Let's say that they are happily married for 60, 70 years. The husband loved the wife's company, which is very very seldom. And then the husband, the wife, vice versa. They like each other's company. So when the husband dies, he will be waiting for her to join him in astral world. So whenever she's asleep, that he'll be waiting for her to get up, to come to the astral world, and then they will go and they will start creating. He will look for a plot of land. He will start creating a beautiful house, just waiting for her to come. So the moment she comes, they will start having their own life, their own house, their own garden, everything. They will think about creative ways how to do things and so on. They even might have a pet. So when he says about when they do a creative way of doing things, some people in the astral world will look at how they are, a creative way of uh, of, of something, making for example, I'm just giving an example. Last time we didn't have a washing machine, so probably they created a washing machine in the astral world. So that idea the person saw, and he came to the physical world and he created this washing machine. So these are all because the thought process are working, and everything is possible to be replicated in the physical world. Okay, and as I said, the only person who's going to find it very difficult are people, the businessmen. Sorry, not the businessmen. People who are going to find it difficult are people who uh, people who are like businessmen, where they were always talking about business, making money, and all this. This for these people, the life in astral world is will be challenging. He said. So these people must have some kind of other interest for them to live in the astral world. And he talks about a married couple where uh, a couple um, where one person is highly evolved, the other person is not. So the highly evolved person, what he does is he tried to teach the wife to do things, but because of the ego that we have, the wife might feel that the husband is suppressing all of his desire. But in actually, what he's teaching her is what he's doing is he's teaching her creative ways or how to to live, or probably he talks about music, talks about books, enlightenment. So he is going to give some kind of higher knowledge to her. He thinks he's doing a good job out of it. But unfortunately, because of the ego, the wife might feel that she's suppressed. But when she comes to astral world, these people might not meet each other in the astral world because the wife says, I've had enough of him suppressing my freedom in the astral world. I want to be alone. So when she is alone, she might say, "Oh, these are the things that I learned from him. So it is good. Actually, it's good for my benefit, because I'm learning." So the thing goes on. So she learns to be a better person by the experience that she went through in the and in on earth. Okay. And the other thing they talk about, it's not necessary for the men and women to always be together in the astral life. For example, if we choose a person who is going to be very challenging in this life, we might have the no desire to continue this life with the same person in astral life. Okay, so they talk about twin flames. Twin flames here is actually, they said, every human is created, every soul is created in a male and female body. Sometimes they get together because for a purpose in life, where they create something nice. And for example, sometimes you might hear a businessman or a creator that always tells, my wife has been the backbone for me to do this creation, and so on. So in this life, for a better purpose, for a good purpose, on earth, they might come together, but normally they don't, because they say, if only we have twin flame like this, they will not have any challenges. The soul might not grow. Okay, that's a quite interesting that I learned from this. And what else can I share with you? Okay. Sorry guys, I'm going through. So you see, the twin flame. Last time I used to earn for a twin flame. I should have a twin flame where I can share everything. But after reading this, I felt that, yeah, what he's saying is true. That if we have somebody who's agreeing to everything we say, and we have the same interest, life would be very, very boring. It won't be challenging as what life is now. So these are the ideas that I've taken from this chapter 5. And he didn't do any astral traveling during this time. So in chapter 6 only they will go for a astral. Uh, sorry, in chapter 6 he said Acharya will tell him that I'm going to take you to a place where you can see yourself, that astral human beings conform to what may be described as a normal reaction, covering the individual concerns in the physical plane. So for this, you have to wait for chapter 6 next week. So with that, thank you so much for joining me in this chapter, and we will have our discussion after this.